Conference will now come to order. At this time, the Sergeant of Arms, Bill Kleesner, and Alan LePage will post the colors. And salute. Two. Uncover. All members and guests in attendance shall remain standing with their cover removed and placed over their heart in their opening prayer through the postings of the POW-MAI flag chair covered, and concluding with the pledge of allegiance. The chaplain, Jerry Manaman, offer the invocation.
Dear Lord, we thank Thee for these days wherein we are given the freedom to make decisions for the betterment of the American Legion, the auxiliary and the SAL programs, to obtain knowledge and the wherewithal to better care for our veterans. How to combine these efforts for a better America, always being mindful that we are one nation under God. We pray that this will be our goal, knowing that when we place our trust in You, we are assured of Your blessing. We know, Lord, all things are possible with You. Help us to be worthy as we claim this blessing. Amen.
Amen. A POW-MIA empty chair is placed at all official meetings of the American Legion as a physical symbol of the thousands of American POW-MIAs still unaccounted for from all the wars and conflicts involving the United States of America. This is a reminder for all of us to share no effort to secure the release of any American prisoners from captivity, the repatriation of the remains of those who died bravely in the defense of liberty, and a full accounting of those missing. Let us rededicate ourselves for this vital endeavor. Will Sergeant of Arms Bill Kleesner place a POW in the United flag cover on the empty chair? Please recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join me in reciting the preamble of the Constitution. For God, and country,
so proceed yourselves together for all purposes, to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States of America, to maintain law and order, to foster and perpetuate 100% Americanism, to preserve the memories and existence of our association with all wars, giving up great sense of individual obligation to keep the state and the nation, to combat the hypocrisy of both classes and masses, to make right the master
I'm Dave Kleesner, Commander Farley. Sherman Peterson, Post 656. Welcome all you people here to Farley. Hope you have a good stay and thanks for coming.
I'm Dick Reese from Post 650 Upward, John White Post. And again, I thank you for all coming and I hope you have a good meeting and safe trip home when we're all done. Thank you.
Thank you for hosting us.
Today. At this time, we would like to introduce our officers and guests. First, we have Department Commander Randy Johnson. Then we have alternate NEC Ken Rocco. Past department commanders, Mike Etzel. Past district commanders, Don Arms. Tom Holland. Dick Hogan. Some district committee members. We have Brian Filer for Liaison Committee. Jerry Even, Audit Committee. Baseball. Vice Commander Dick Brees. Adjutant Michael Franklin. Finance Officer Dale Radaman. Advic Leonard Ernst. Jerry Manaman. Sergeant at Arms Bill Gleasner. Guests from the department, we have Jerry Pester.
Joseph Buster.
Josie.
And we have Sons of the American Legion right here, and Todd Gleasner. Dennis, I don't know how to pronounce this. And Glenn Johnson. Would Judge Advocate Leonard Ernst give the rules of the conference?
This conference will be run according to the Constitution and bylaws of the Second District, and also according to Robert's Rules of Order.
I will then entertain a motion to adopt the conference rules. Second. Adjutant Michael Reckling will conduct the roll call post. When your post is called, please respond with the number of members present.
Okay, good morning. Clinton County, Clinton Post 190. DeWitt Post 238. Lost Nation Post 381. Wheatland Post 447. Calamus Post 466. Grand Mound Post 622. Dubuque County, Dubuque Post 6. Dyersville, post 137.
8,
Cascade, post 528.
1,
Epworth, post 650.
3.
Farley, post 656.
2,
Jackson County, Sebula, post 74. Macokota, post 75.
2,
Bellevue, post 273.
2,
Baldwin, post 513. Spragueville, post 590. Preston, post 602.
1,
Miles, post 677. Jones County, Anamosa, post 13. Monticello, post 209. Wyoming, post 259. Olin, post 412. Oxford Junction, post 473.
3,
Lynn County, Lisbon, post 109. Center Point, post 297. Marion, post 298.
3,
Springville, post 331. Coggin, post 362. Walker, post 376.
3,
Central City, post 421. Mount Vernon, post 480. Ely, post 555. Fairfax, post 572. Toddville, post 674. Halo, post 679.
3,
Troy Mills, post 712. Cedar Rapids, post 727. Hiawatha, post 735. Scott County, Davenport, post 26. Bettendorf, post 154. LeClaire, post 347.
1,
Dixon, post 353. Davenport, post 482. Donahue, post 532. Walcott, post 548.
4,
Eldridge, post 639. Bluegrass, post 711.
3,
In accordance with the 2nd District Constitution, Article 4, Section 4, a quorum exists if at least 4 out of 6 counties are represented by 2 or more members. Today, 4 of our 6 counties are represented by 2 or more members. Therefore, I hereby declare that we have a quorum for the 2023 Spring Conference.
Now I declare the 2023 Spring Conference of the 2nd District, Department of Iowa convened. This time, please take a moment to review the minutes of the 2nd District Midwinter Caucus, which are in your pocket and were also published on the district website. And I think most of them were emailed out also by our adjutant. Note that the 22 Spring Conference minutes were reviewed and approved at the Fall Conference, and the Fall Conference minutes were reviewed and approved at the Midwinter Conference. I'll give you a few minutes to just look over them.
Commander,
Yes.
you got an extra packet? I didn't get one up, please.
Are there any corrections to the minutes? If not, the minutes stand as read and shall be published. At this time, District Finance Officer Dale Radaman will give the financial and audit report.
Thank you, Commander. I'm not going to read through all the reports that are there. Look at that. Does anybody have any questions in regard to what's published? accept the motion to accept the reports as published.
I make that motion. I'll second it.
We have a vote. Anybody not in favor?
Thank you, Gail. At this time, I would like our guest we're going to speak to please come forward. And first, I'd like to have Department of Iowa Claims Representative Jerry Esther to come forward. Josie, okay. Probably not the last name.
I've been a lot of teasing against me, Josie Wiggins. Good morning, my fellow veterans. How you doing? Good. Hey, I'm glad to be here this morning and talk to you. You can't hear me? Apologize. Apologize. So I'm here. I'm a claims representative out of Des Moines, Iowa. I may have talked to a few of you guys on the phone. I just want to come in here and kind of let you know what we kind of do. Who's in our office, what we do, and so I'm going to give you some tidbits of some numbers, and then I'm going to open it up for some questions there at the end. So again, I'm Josie Pester. I'm a new guy here in the office. Been in for 6 months. We have Shane. He's been in the office for about 3 years. We have Missy. I don't know if any of you guys know Missy, but she's currently on medical leave, dealing with some stuff. Then we have Kevin and Heather. They're our part-time folks. They work. Kevin works 3 days a week, and then Heather works on Saturdays. So you should be able to reach out if you have any questions and about claims in general. And how many of you guys have ever filed a claim through the VSO office? One or two of you, yeah. So for the folks that don't know about the VA system, that's what we're here for. We're here to kind of help guide you folks through what we call that beast of the VA system that nobody knows how to navigate. And so we kind of just sit down with you and go through options, like if you have a claim that you want to file for maybe a knee issue, and you don't know if it's service connected or if you're going to get anything, we'd sit down and go through your records and take a look and see what we can do to better your life. And we kind of follow from cradle to grave. We file a claim for you guys, and then we just kind of go through if it gets approved, more good, for you guys. And if it doesn't, then we can go ahead and appeal it. So some of the numbers, I got a pamphlet in the back. I got a bunch of statistics and I'm not gonna read them all off, but I really just wanted to highlight some of the big ones. So since the fiscal year, the state of Iowa has had 550 new claims for veterans statewide, not just American Legion. The DAV, the county VSOs, 550 claims has gone out there, and the American Legion has done 337 of those claims. So we are a big piece of what the VSO office has a big piece of that, where we're helping veterans out there and making sure that they're getting those entitlements that you guys deserve. And so another good one, another number is, since December, we've been able to help veterans gross $27 million worth of benefits. Fiscal year, total $67 million. That's a lot of money that's going in helping veterans out there, you folks, getting the things that you need to help your daily life. And so, in the end, I don't really have much else to say other than if you do have questions, don't hesitate to reach back out to me. We do have information on the back there, and we have business cards that we have. You can give us a call any time. I'm just going to open it up for any questions to you guys. Any questions on the floor? Go ahead, sir.
Do you have any empty positions right now you're trying to fill?
Yes, thanks for asking that question. We do actually, with Heather, Missy being out due to medical leave, and Kevin, we're letting him go here at the end of the month. We are in need of fellow veterans to maybe look into seeing if they want to become a VSO officer. And so definitely, if you have somebody that's interested, definitely reach out, grab a business card at the back there, and refer them to us. We'd love to do an interview with them and sit down and see if they would be a right fit for us. Any other questions?
Out of that, 337, how many were in the pack then?
I'm going to tell you offhand. And so, I mean, we compile data all the time, but I don't have that information right off the top of my head. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. So the question was, is how many of the claims that were filed this fiscal year, how many of those 337 were due to the PACT Act? I don't have the number right off the top of my head, but I can tell you a good fair portion, PACT Act, Agent Orange, Camp Lejeune, all those other claims that have like affected you guys, those are a good bulk of those claims are due to those issues. So.
What kind of backlog do you have, and how long does it take to get a response from a claim?
That's a really good question. I don't know if you heard, but he was asking how long does a claim typically take and how many claims are out there. The last I heard, nationwide, there's about 5 million claims. And in appeals, there's about 250,000 appeals out there. Average time for a claim to go from cradle to grave, it average about 6 months. Obviously, there is no exact science to it. It just really depends on the claim itself. Every claim is different. You know, every circumstance is different, so you have to take that into consideration. But I would say 6 months. And then for appeals, from the appeal time to start until you get a hearing, it's about 2 years. Go ahead.
If it's been approved for a claim, do they ever take it away?
Yes, the question that has been asked, if a claim has been approved, will it ever get taken away? It really depends on the circumstance. Every veteran in here is different. Every situation is different. So like if you file a claim and you're not 100% permanent and total, you know, let's say a veteran is in here 70%, they do an annual review on some cases, depending on what the claim was, to see if a veteran gets better. I mean, realistically, how many hands go up and say, hey, I'm getting better over time?
Not many.
Not many of us, right? It's very rare, but it does happen. So I don't have a precise number, but yeah, if you file a claim or if you're under review, we say, hey, slim chance that you could be decreased a percentage, but it's less likely.
I filed for, you guys filed for me for hypertension, PAC Act, and I got a 0% disability. I thought it was a presumptive, and maybe getting something.
Absolutely, I don't know if you heard the question. So he was asking, he filed a claim for hypertension and that he got a 0% rating. A lot of people do file for hypertension due to the PACT Act, Agent Orange, and all the other, those are presumptive, right? The issue that the VA has is it's able to be managed with medication. So if you get a 0% rating,
You still won the battle with being service-connected. A lot of people fail to realize that being service-connected is the hardest part about the claim. And so if you get service-connected, that's a win in your book, even though it's a 0%. And
But I'm already under the VA, because I have boots on the ground and they're not.
absolutely. So the way they look at it is they have percentages based off of like categories of ailments, right? You might have this issue for hypertension. If it's managed by medication and you're doing fine and your blood pressure isn't rising, you're not having strokes, you're gonna have a 0% rating. The good thing is if you get worse, the great thing is you can come back to us and say, hey, I'm getting worse off, I feel like I need more. We can reevaluate that. And so we've just submit a new claim and have them take a look at your new relevant information, and then they make a decision. So there's no loss by trying again. So what's the worst that the VA is going to do is say no.
Oh, in answer to somebody else's question,
Sorry, Charlie. Apologies.
Any other questions?
I just got,
Yeah.
somebody asked how long it takes. I submitted in August, and the letter came in February.
Yeah. So the I'm sorry. So the question is that, hey, I submitted a claim in August. I'm waiting until February. Yeah, there is no exact science for filing a claim. It really based on how many claims you file at that time. If you file any claims after that fact, it's going to hold that first claim up. So let's say you file on August 1st, and like, oh, dang, I didn't file for this. I'm going to go back and file for it. That first claim that you filed might be held up due to that second claim. We kind of recommend that you file your claim, have everything on it. If you kind of missed it, just wait till that first claim closes and then file for everything else. So there's no exact science for time frames when it comes to whether they get approved or denied.
I just wanted, that's what happened to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And all you can do really is honestly just call us and ask. Say, hey, it's been a while, I haven't heard anything, I haven't got anything in the mail. Can you pull up my file and take a look? And we're more than happy to, go kind of just dive into it and see what we can find. A lot of times it's just waiting for a CP exam to happen, waiting for a diagnosis to happen from the medical provider, or we're just waiting on a rater to just make a decision. Obviously, they have millions of claims to file, and so you're just maybe waiting in that racket stack to be at that top of the list to be rated. So, anything else? If you have any questions at all that you want to speak offline, I'll be here in the back. You can more than happy to just talk to me. And like down the road, again, I got business cards in the back for Shane and myself. If you have anything that comes up, that you think of that you didn't think of today, that you want, just give us a call. That's what we're here for. We're here to help you guys get all the benefits that you guys deserve. So, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Josie. I just want to announce, I think in the back, Eric and Josie brought some brochures and that they're free to take, and Bill Goodman brought a bunch of handouts and stuff. You can browse, they're on the table over there. They're free to take. Bill just said browse, and if you need anything, feel free to take it. Okay, at this time, would like to invite our program director from the department, Eric Less.
Good morning. How's everybody doing? All right. Well, I would suggest, and honestly, as far as that VA system goes, I submitted a claim. It was flawless, but I worked with them. Don't be that guy that's difficult and grumpy. You got to work with those guys. If they tell you they need that information from your doctor, you can get all that information. You can provide that. But I can't believe there's only been a couple hands as far as submitting, applications and doing a disability claim. I would encourage everybody to at least make the phone call and get educated. You don't know what you don't know. Okay, with that being said, good morning. Good morning. Gentlemen, ladies. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the invite. And now that I think about it, I don't know if I was ever invited. I was told to be here. So, but again, my name's Eric Less, and I work at the department. So I'm the new programs director. I replaced Ryan. Ryan did an outstanding job as far as setting me up for success. All the tools are there for me, so really, honestly, it's been a seamless process. If you don't know, I do a lot of the boys' state, the rhetorical, the junior shooting. Those are the things that I mostly do. And I probably talked to some of you guys on the phone. Sometimes I think it's pretty good for the most part. I know you get frustrated with me or the system, technology, but I think we're doing an outstanding job as far as moving forward and having that positive attitude and accomplishing the mission. It's embrace the suck, adjust fire, adapt and overcome it, and that's what we have to do. It is what it is. I don't make the rules. So just work with me on that, and I promise we'll get through it. I don't have business cards back there, and I didn't do that on purpose. But you can always get a hold of me. I'm at the department. So we all have the same number as far as John Durner goes, Teresa, and Ian. Okay, so it's the same number. Anyhow, you can get a hold of me. Just ask for me if you need me. Couple things I wanted to talk to you guys about. That table back there, I have a ton of stuff, a ton of information. So just kind of browse through it. As far as the district conference, the headquarters report, I would definitely pick this up. It has a ton of information in there, and it'll get you up to date as far as current. I'm not going to insult your intelligence. I'm not going to read through everything, but I do want to talk to you about a few things that we kind of highlighted. You guys know about the job opening at the service office. If you know anybody, refer them. Get that information into John Durner or Shane Cohen. We've got a couple candidates right now that we're interviewing. So hopefully we can get people in there, because right now, really Josie and Shane are the only ones doing that job right now. So, and they're doing an incredible job. Bowie State counselors meeting. Okay, so currently we're at 53. We need double that. And most of those people that are volunteer counselors, they're not even Legion members, which kind of blew my mind. Okay, we would prefer more Legionnaires volunteering, being there and representing those posts. So if we get some more counselors, we desperately need it. Right now, as far as Bowie State goes, I extended that to the 15th. Is anybody in here following me on Bowie State? Everybody some of you guys involved with Bowie State? We really need to push that. We're down to 222. So every single year, we're losing bodies, we're losing numbers. That program's been around since 1938, and it's been at Camp Dodge since 1938. I actually found a picture the other day, and back then there were about 1,200 Boy Staters, and now we're down to 222. So that's kind of unfortunate. So counselors, and then we also need people to go out and recruit Boy Staters. Obviously this year's done as of this weekend, but we can start planning and preparing for next year. I'm making it easier. We're going to do a hype video this year, okay? And then I'm working on posters and working on flyers. Jazz it up, right? Get some pictures on there, some information, QR codes, so these kids can actually just scan that, and then it takes them directly to our website and gets them that information. And all you have to do is drop it off, right? Put it somewhere in the community, get it in the high schools, just drop it off to those coaches, those teachers, say, hey, do you mind just putting this up if kids are interested? You know, they can read through that, they can, scan that code, and that'll take them directly to me, and then I can talk to them about that program. And you guys don't have to do anything, okay? But it's getting those flyers out, getting that information out. We don't want to lose that program. It's been around forever. That's the same with a lot of the programs. The junior shooting, we're getting a lot better. We just had that about a month ago, and that was pretty successful. We had a good turnout for that. Yeah?
That Boys State, do you have an updated video? The one we're using is so dated that it's kind of goofy when you go into a high school class and you play it for the junior. It's really dated.
And I appreciate, thanks for bringing that up. I have a DVD, and it looks like something, 20 years ago. Kids are like, what is a DVD? God, they don't know what this stuff is, right? So that's why we've hired somebody to come in, and they're going to video all the cool stuff that we're doing this year for Bowie State.
Great.
Whether it's the leader reaction courses, rappelling, the classroom activities, really what it all entails Bowie State. We got a guy that's videotaping that. That's going to be on our site, so when people, they scan those codes, it's going to take them directly there to where they can see that video.
Make a thumb drive so we can present it somewhere, in school.
Well,
we go there.
You'd be able to do that from our, but anyways, We'll talk about that.
All right.
We'll get there. Because the thumb drives and all that stuff. Go ahead.
Seems to me, and I thought several years ago, the Legion was gonna go talk to the Department of Education, state of Iowa, all the coaches and stuff, that these boys, juniors that go to Boys State should be held penalized if they miss a week of baseball or whatever that they don't get to play a week or two. I still got boys come back and tell me that is not working. If they miss it, coach says, you're not playing, you're gonna be benched. So a lot of these kids wanna go, but they will not forfeit their time playing baseball, which is a sad portion, because it's a heck of a training program, but it's still out there. And I got boys that'll, it's all right, I won't go, but if I could, I could, but I won't.
Yeah, they're just gonna have to weigh out those options, and have that conversation with their parents. The dates aren't gonna change because we can't, because the school's starting. I mean, there's reasons why those dates are in place, but we're running into church camps, we're running into baseball, all these different programs, and yeah, 100%, I get that every single day. That's not gonna change, but there's a lot of other kids out there too. I would say, I would make the argument, you know, just the other day I was talking to a gentleman that took his son to an Air Force Academy, and he was looking up at a board, and about 25% of those kids that are in that graduating class all went to Boise State.
Yeah.
And West Point as well, another buddy of mine, Chuck Larson, took his son, and they did a tour last week at West Point, and West Point encouraged them to do Boise State. It looks better on their resume, it's a good resume builder. So, you know, maybe those pros and cons, you know, you gotta weigh up your options. Is this worth more than Boise State or, you know, whatever? I mean, so there's not a perfect answer for that.
That does make a lot of sense. My cousin's Ty Kozak from Muscatine, and he's being recruited to D1 football across the place. Went to Boise State 3 weeks ago, committed to Air Force to play football. And that Boise State was part of it. He got in there, saw what was going on, saw it, and realized that's what he wanted to do. And if he had never gone to that,
Yeah.
you know.
And I can help you guys out too. I mean, it's a different conversation with you and talking with you. It is for me too. I have a 22-year-old son, and we don't even speak the same language. So I understand, like, you guys trying to talk to these young men about Boise State. You can always get them to me, and I did recruiting for quite a while in the military. If I were able to put them in the military, I could probably convince them to do Boise State. That would be kind of easy for me. But I've been reading up on Boise State, getting educated, and finding out these success stories so that I can share it with folks, so that they can share it with potential candidates out there. But you always have me as a resource. You just call me, get me that information. If I need to talk to a counselor or a secretary and just bring them up to date with what we're trying to do, you know, don't hesitate to give me a call. Let me help you guys out, okay? Because that's kind of what I do.
The value of Boise State is immeasurable. Can you give us a thought, idea, a reality on what constitutes the rise in sponsorship, financial rise in sponsorship is increasing?
Yeah, so we raised the...
What's the question?
As far as the price for Boise State for each delegate, yeah, so that amount has been the same since 1998, $250. Everything's gone up. The amount of food, the billeting, you know, inflation, right? So we had to do the 400. Matter of fact, last year we took a $45,000 hit. We lost $45,000 on Boise State. Thank goodness we have a reserve, so we were able to kind of back that up, but we're getting to the point where we don't have that reserve anymore. That 400, so right now we're at 222 boys. I was hoping to get to 225, 250, but at 225, I mean, that's almost $100,000. So we're not gonna really take a loss, but we're just gonna barely, basically even out. Yeah. So, but hey, that's okay, and we're done with it now, and we're going to move forward. But I'm trying to build, I'm thinking about next year, and things that we can start doing now, to not, you know, because I want to double Boise State. I'd like to get back up to 1,000 kids, you know. And we should have goals, and we should work towards those goals. So, but again, that's kind of my background. I did a lot of recruitment and stuff like that, so that's what I'm hoping to bring to the table and help assist. Yeah.
Now, the only comment I have over the increase, guys, that was needed, I think next year it will be better because that increase hit after a lot of budgets were set.
You bet.
And that might be another reason. Some of the simple folks just, yeah.
I tell you what, when we had that board meeting, that was a long board meeting with that amount. Yeah, but hey, I'll be honest with you, in the end, it just made the most sense because of the data that was put in front of us, and then you couldn't argue with that. And, you know, if we didn't make that change, Charlie kind of was pushing for that. He's the subject matter expert as far as the finances go. You know, we wouldn't have a Boise State here in the next couple of years. You know, and then it's too late to fix it or do anything about it. So I think we did the right things as far as those steps that were needed. Yeah.
One thing we found out, it's not an art, but I have a cousin in Freeport, Illinois. The different organizations in town, the fire department, the Lions Club, they also sponsor boy ships so the police doesn't pay for all of them. Years ago, they used to send 10 kids, both boys and girls, just like everything else. They only do 2 or 3 anymore, but yeah, they used to have all the different organizations in town help sponsor. So they had no problem when they're back in that way at that time.
Yeah, we're working on that. We're working on that for even just the American Legion in general as far as donations go. We've got some things that's in place right now that I think you guys will be impressed. We're getting there. We're getting there. So we'll tackle it. But yeah, enough of Boise. So Boise State will be closed at the end of the week. If there's, I'll be honest with you, if there's some onesies and twosies that come through, I'm not going to deny that. Just call me and let me help you guys work through that and make that happen super quick, okay? Yeah.
How many state legislators do we have that are involved in speakers?
I've got the governor, the secretary of state, I got the tag, I've got, as far as,
Any counselors?
counselors? No. I probably got, we're kind of strapped for time, so as far as the speakers go, I've got maybe 7, 8 of them. The same that they had last year. I just sent out the same letters. Because that's what, I guess what we do every single year. I don't know what right looks like until I see Boise State this year. And I'll be, yeah. I don't handle the counselors. Jim Hetrick handles the counselors. He deals with the staff and the counselors. I do a lot of the other stuff. He handles all the counselors, past counselors. He does everything. So I'm not really tracking that. That's his lane. Okay, that's enough of Boise State there. Department convention, let's see. The Department Convention Committee, the assignment must be made at the Spring District Conference. Something I want to talk to you guys about. Let's see. The Department Leadership School, which is June the 2nd to the 4th, 2023, 6 attendees per district. And you guys will track on that. Anything else? And you guys can read through this too. The firefighter and the police officer of the year. The firefighter was from here, right? David Grass. So outstanding packet, by the way. And I'm putting together for you guys an example of a packet that looks very good. That's gonna, as far as what right looks like for a packet, I'm gonna do an example of a packet for you. And I'm gonna go after what they did because they completely destroyed the rest of it. Anybody that submitted a packet, outstanding packet. There were so many personal things that were in there, the pictures, you know, instead of, you know, I'm only allowed to submit 22 pages to national, right? Well, a lot of people were doing, you know, certificates and stuff on one page where they were putting 4 or 5 certificates on one page, you know, maximizing, you know, all that information and getting that information out, putting in, you know, what they do in the community, family pictures. So they personalized it. So as far as the firefighter and the law enforcement of the year, I'm going to help you guys get a packet together, and I'll push that out so you guys have that so you know what right looks like for next year. But yeah, David Grass, and then Ty was the police officer.
Ty Bolger from Glenwood, Iowa.
Yes. Yeah. And another outstanding packet. To be honest with you, I think that's why. They didn't just go off of the list and just check those boxes. They thought outside the box while putting those packets together. Yeah.
My introduced David's mother, Janet West.
Oh, okay. Very nice to meet you, man. Okay, very good, very good. But yeah, I mean, that was great. I mean, we've got a good shot at national, to be honest with you. Legionnaire of the year, make sure you guys get that in June 25th. Educator of the year, I pushed that up to national. What else out there? Anything else? Let's see. Junior shooting program, we're doing really well with that. Nothing much there. That's pretty much all I've got. You guys got any questions? Okay. Cool. Hey, thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Just a note, I forgot to introduce one person, and that is the cameraman back there, camera lady, who is my wife, Kathy. So when you ask questions, please speak up so that it picks up on the camera. At this time, I'd like to introduce Brian Ring, membership chairman from the department.
If you give me a minute, I gotta take a couple pictures. This is for the historian for the department commander. I'd like to show how many people show up to these conferences for him. So everybody smile on the side. There we go. Looking good. Got the camera lady. We're good. We're good. Okay.
My public math of 4 out of 6 counties was incorrect. It's 5 out of 6 counties. Sorry. That was public math. It's high stress.
Okay, good morning, Secretary. How you doing? Okay, congratulations. At this time, you've been in first place for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Way to go. Keep your membership moving. As of the 14th, yesterday, you have 157 new members. And from midwinter, I had a poster board out with all the districts and where they were sitting. That's 24 more than you had in midwinter. Transfers into your district, you've got 53. That's 41 more than what you had in mid-district. So great job, keep it up. Paid for life, you've gone up 1, you're 759. You have 5 posts sitting above 100%. Post 513, Lubin Kegley out of Baldwin. Post 677, Spencer Cook out of Miles. Post 473, Wasp, Oxford Junction. Post 297, that's the new one, Di Vincent, Center Point. And post 679, Palo, out of Palo. So, congratulations. Keep it up and keep it moving. Okay, post between 90 and 99%. You have 16. That's a gain of 5 more posts that have gone over 90%. So you guys are doing great. Keep up the good work. And congratulations again on being in first place so far. Now, quick question. Who controls the destiny of Iowa's department? Who controls it? Opposed to. Your membership controls that. If you're not getting your memberships paid, we're losing functions. We'll lose the children's youth programs. We will lose the veterans programs that we do. And we have highly rated programs we work on. And if we don't have the membership to keep them running, we are going to lose them and our department's going to shrink. And someday, if we don't keep it going, we're going to lose that person. We're going to lose that department office. You know there's 14 departments out there that do not have a physical building, do not have a full-time adjutant. They are part-time. We are lucky with the individuals we have working in our office. So we've got to get a membership, we've got to keep it rolling. So I'm going to ask a question, and when the commander gets up here, he's going to jump in on that and work with it. We're coming up towards the end of this membership year. How many of you stopped putting in new members starting May 15th because you know they're not going to show up on your roster? How many of you? There are several out there, departments in the national, that stopped putting members in come June or May 15th.
I thought the cutoff was April 1st.
When they do their roll for doing their membership tours and all that stuff, it's in May. But a lot of people stop putting the new members in because they're not going to show up on that roster and their card's not going to be there. And they don't want to see that. Yes?
I don't think it's because of what you just mentioned. I think they don't like bringing in new members, and then a month or two later, you notice that the next year's dues is already upon you. So they put it up, and that's been a little bit of a problem. Our selling point, our sales point should be, get those in as soon as you get them signed up, send them in so they get an extra year added to their
membership. What he's saying is people don't like putting it in because All of a sudden, a month later, you got dues due for that new person. When I get somebody new, because I'm outgoing membership chair for the post, I warn them about this. I have a talk with them about it. And I ask them, do you want me to wait? I do. I also ask them, or I can put you in now, and in 2 months, you're going to get a membership dues. I'm just letting you know. That's something I talk with a lot of them. And they all take it. Well, okay, that's fine with me. I just won't pay for a few months, but I'll get it paid up. I agree. It is a hurt point. But your membership per chair has to go through that list and write out. On average, I would write out anywhere from 10 to 20 cards by hand because they weren't on my membership list because they were that new. And the commander and I had a long discussion. Last year, my post finished at 231 members. On the roster, it says all they need is 214. So that's how many members I had to write out to start out at the beginning of the year. So please, I know it's hard, but get them in. You're hurting national and you're hurting the department if you don't put them in. That's all you got to do. It's simple. And now, if many of you can get on the computer, it's very easy. You have that membership number right away. You have their number to give to them instead of waiting 3 or 4 months like we used to. Another issue we're having right now is national is taking anywhere from 11 to 16 days to get that paperwork filled out and get them rostered in there. You can see them show up on your list, but it says expired. It's taking 11 to 16 days for that to show up and actually be marked as a member of your post. So I know it's disappointing, and I hate that. And we have a lot of conversations about that online. But otherwise, you guys are doing fantastic. Keep it up. Any questions? Any other questions? Yes, sir.
I've had real trouble with a number of guys that have not received their renewal notices.
From the
national. Almost like it's been handed out to a third party, it's a whole different organization.
He's saying he's having problems with a lot of his people not getting renewal notices. My problem is I've got a lot of people that have paid that are getting renewal notices. So it's both sides that are always being played with. I agree. Sometimes it acts like it's a total third-party settlement, but it's not. National doesn't have everybody working like they used to. A lot of them are sitting at home, or a lot of them only work half days. So that's something we're having a lot of issue with. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Brian, I know National had a lot of problems with the new computer systems. Is that too much straightened out? Or?
You want the legal answer or the oh hell no answer? They are still having major issues with that program. There's still a lot of tweaks in there that aren't straightened out. Like I said, it's taken 11 to 16 days. When they first brought that program out, it was 5 days. And they were into your system completely. Now it's spread out. I don't think they got as many people working on it, and they're having just as many issues as we do. Any other questions?
No, but I would like to make a comment.
Yes, sir.
One of the things that I campaigned when the new mileage program came online was for them to allow the district commander, district adjutant, to go in and view the posts that had mileage, like the old system.
Yeah.
And how many times they've been on it, and the date they were last on it. And so far, they haven't brought that on with the new system. And it's a tremendous asset at the district level.
That's been a big complaint from the districts, from the departments, and they still can't get that figured out. As far as being able to let the districts do what they used, be able to see the post, what's going on in each post.
I just wanted to bring it up, and as the department kind of feels where you can keep fixing about it.
It's one of the buttons we push every time we have a talk. Something some of you may not know is, within the next couple of years, they stopped printing that nice green sheet. I loved having that thing, because I could write down when they paid, the check number they paid with, and I had information in my hands all the time. Now, they stopped bringing that out. So now you got to print your roster out, and that little thing's all topped in there, and you got 50 people on one sheet, and you can't read it, can you? No. The next thing they're not going to do is send out the cards, and that's going to be in the next couple of years. They're talking to stop sending the cards out. They want you to print them out off your printer. That basic paper, that basic paper we have in our printers won't last a day in your damn wallet. You won't even get the card in there. You're going to have to seal them things in plastic just to be able to keep them and read them. So, and I've asked that question, are you going to send that paper out for us to work on? Are you going to send it out so we can print? And I have not got an answer for that. So, I'll keep you informed as much as I can. Any other questions?
What's the reason behind that?
Money. Yeah. They stopped the green sheet, the big sheet because of money. They're talking about the cards now, so that's.
They can afford a race car.
That's a whole subject for the commander to talk about his race car.
I've got one thing, if you don't want it printed out, make it more readily available so you can have it come up on your phone.
It actually is on my Legion.
Yeah.
Well, if you get in my Legion and bring it up, you can bring up your card.
Yeah, I mean, bring it
Yeah.
up so you can keep it at a higher level on your phone.
I think you can. Right now, you can have that downloaded as a page on your phone, so you can tap on it, have it there.
Right.
Yeah, it is available that way. Okay. Anything else? Thank you for your time. Thank you very much, sir. Here's my report.
Thank you, Brian. Okay, at this time, I'd like to introduce our department elegant NEC, Ken Rocco.
It's all right with you, I'm gonna stand right here in the middle so you can all hear me.
What?
If you can't hear me, you're gonna have to hold your hand up. And I'm gonna cut them off. I represent Jim Trevillo, which is the national commander. What I talk about is what we went to Washington, D.C. and talked to Congress for you guys. That's what we go there for, to help everybody out, our members. First thing we talk about is suicide prevention. Just like our slogan this year is, be the one. Be the one to talk to these guys about suicide. I also kick in, be the one, talk to the guy with the Army or Navy or anything else on his cap about being a Legion member. Those guys are telling you they're eligible and they want to be a member. All you got to do is talk to them. How many times do you hear these guys say, well, I was never asked?
Many, many, many times.
Did they tell you they was eligible? No. So that's what I do. When I see a guy like that and they say, well, nobody ever asked me. I said, did you ever tell me you was eligible? And that shuts them up right away. They don't like to hear that. The other thing is the PAC Act, which you all heard about. And I'm sure you see it on television all the time. Them lawyers are out there after your money. Don't fall for that. That's one of the worst things they got going there is. If you file with them guys and they pay you, the lawyer gets the money and pays you. Of course, you know 60% is going to take by the lawyer. After you get done with him, you say, well, I'm not satisfied, so you go to the service office and you file a claim. And you get a lot more money. The first thing the government's going to do is deduct what you got in that first claim. And of course, 60% of the lawyer got. So what did you get out of that? You didn't get hardly anything. Don't fall for that. Predatory act. What that accounts to is they want to make it to where these lawyers only get 33% of numbers. Whether it'll go through or not, I don't know. But that's what they're pushing for. Concurrent receipt. Here's a bad one too. You get, under your retirement, you get paid when you got hurt in there, they want to deduct one from the other one. We don't think that's right. If you got hurt in service and you retired, you should be able to get the full amount. You served your whole time. This is what the national people go to Congress and fight for you. The GI Bill, which most of us got pretty good. National Guard, when they get called up, some Some of their time does not qualify. We don't think that's right. They're in just as bad harm's way as we are when we was in there the full time. Honorable service. How'd you like to be the guy who come up from Mexico, been here 3-4 years, maybe 10 years. He decided he wants to go in service. Spends 2 years in there or 4 years, whatever it is. He gets out. The first thing they do is deport him because he's not a citizen. American Legion wants those guys, as soon as they get through boot camp, to have their citizenship papers, which is no more than right to go fight for it, so it should be covered. Pay the Coast Guard. You know, the last time, 3 years ago, whenever it was, under E6, I believe it was, and they never got paid. Of course, poor guy's struggling in there anyhow. He comes home, tells his wife, well, I didn't get paid, but the rent's due, and we need some groceries. We got no money. Well, you know, the American Legion turned around and gave them $3 million, I believe it was. I could be off on the number. We never asked for it back, but I think we got quite a few members from that. And we're still trying to protect the American flag. We go through that all the time. And we hope someday some of them people out there working will get the idea what's going on. With that, that's all I got. Got any questions? No, you can't raise your hand. Go ahead.
Your thing about just ask, you got 2 females sitting there that I can see. Just this past week, in the past, we had a fundraiser to raise money to do some repairs in the hall. And this lady gave us a nice, real nice donation. We found out that she had been an Army nurse. She asked if, we asked her if she cared to join our Legion. She said she sure would. She came down Thursday and joined.
That's right.
I just see these two that just are part of my story.
You talk about that, I got into this situation. It's been about 10 years ago. I run a welding shop. The lady walks in the door. She says, I want to transfer my membership. Well, what do you think about it? First thing you think of. Well, I hate to say it, but I don't do auxiliary. She said, no, I'm a Legion member. I belong in Maryland, and I want to transfer it back to Durant because her dad was in that post. So, yeah, we stick our foot in our mouth once in a while. Not intentionally, but we end up doing that. You got any questions over here?
You mentioned non-citizens serving in the military.
Yes.
Do we have an idea how many there are?
No.
What percentage?
No, I have no idea at all.
Should we know?
I have no idea.
Okay. I'm just saying, it's nice to know.
I have no idea at all how many. But one's too many. If they serve 4 years, come out and they deport them. That's not good. I heard one guy went to Mexico, they sent him back there. Another guy ended up going back to Africa.
Yeah, that's
Right.
That's wrong. After they serve 4 years, 2 years, whatever it is. Yes, sir.
There was a time that you had to make a declaration of intent to become an American citizen before you could join the military. I don't know if that has changed, but there was a time that was the way it was.
I have no idea.
I went through that.
Unless somebody else knows anything about that, I don't. Harry?
Yeah, so I just got done, I retired last year, I recruited for over 20 years. So you can enlist, they can enlist with a permanent residence. Once they go off to basic training in their AIT or whatever their MOS is gonna be, when they come back, that company starts working their packet immediately, that 42 Alpha starts working their packet for citizenship. It takes, I don't know, roughly, we have our own JAG office that actually deals with citizenship, but within several months they're a citizen. That's how it is currently. That's all branches of service.
Okay.
So once you're a citizen, then they can't deport you.
Right, right. With that, that's all I got. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ken.
Okay.
At this time, I'd like to introduce our department commander, Randy Johnson. Randy Johnson was born and raised in Deep River, Iowa. He graduated from Deep River Millersburg High School in 1978. In February 1980, he enlisted in the U.S. Air Force and spent the next 2 decades serving his country. He is a Desert Shield, Desert Storm veteran, deployed to the Gulf and serving with the 1610th Air Division Provisional, Radcliffe, Saudi Arabia, and later with U.S. Central Command, Al Mutter Province, which I probably slaughtered, Iraq from August 1990 to March 1991. After his military retirement, Randy and his wife, Gail, moved their family back to Iowa and began their second life. Randy has been active in his community as a bar restaurant owner, serving 12 years on the city council, mayor for 6 years, and currently serves on the review board for the Greater Pawtucket County Foundation, providing financial management support to partnership nonprofit agency. He is a paid up for life member of Morrison Schrader Post 296 in Deep River, serving in leadership positions at the post, district, and department levels. Randy is a dual SAL Squadron 296 member. From the Korean War to the War on Terror, Randy's family boasts 9 veterans that have served proudly. Out of that comes 54 active Iowa American Legion family members. Please welcome Randy.
Anyway, just to reiterate just a couple of things that was talked on before. And I'd like to say that I love going after all the other people from the department because they say everything that I don't have to say. So we can shorten things up. But Brian mentioned the holding some memberships. Don't do that. I'll just stick my neck out here and say, please, don't hold memberships. It's not doing anybody any good. They'll say, well, you gotta pay, get somebody, say you get a membership in May. Turn right around again, they're gonna have to pay it again in July. You know how to solve that problem? Don't let them wait until July to pay, or don't let them wait until May to pay.
Randy, let me interrupt you a moment.
Okay?
The solution to that is, we had a member Thursday, a new member Thursday night. Without hesitation, slapped his dues down on the table. If a member doesn't want to do that because they have to renew again in a couple of months, then you collect dues for them for 2024, and you pass the hat around the meeting room to pay his dues or her dues for 2023. Case closed. Or dig in your own pocket and pay their dues.
That sounds easy enough to me. I don't know how Mary will like that. Well, that's a lot of memberships. You know? Yeah. But I don't want to spend the whole time up here on membership because we're not kicking a dead horse, but it's extremely important. I mean, everything comes back to membership. That's what, it's paying the bills, folks. And at here one time, I don't know if you knew or not, but my department commander's project is the Department Service Office. At one time, we had issues where, one, we didn't have the office filled. And two, We weren't in a real hurry to do it because we didn't have the money. So my goal was to fill the service office. We did. And then we ran into issues with health and other things that come out. Now we're down to two full-time, two part-time, I believe. So we need to get that built back up. And I don't want to stand up here and say the membership is the answer to everything, because it's not. And I get sick of hearing it too. Well, get more members, you can do more stuff. Well, how about this? How many commissions and committees do we have at the department level? 16, 18, something like that. How many programs do we have? Look at membership. Membership is the only committee, if you will, that pays its own bills. Americanism doesn't pay for their bills. Membership pays for theirs. So, you know, let's spread the wealth here a little bit and figure out. There's nothing wrong. Why couldn't the department Americanism chairman go out and fundraiser for some program that he's doing? It's just simple to me. It's because we've become so complacent and accepted failure in membership. Oh, we're gonna lose members. Nah, we lose members every year. You know how dumb that sounds. Really. No organization can survive that with that attitude. No. Anyway, it's enough on membership. Nick might have to help me out here on the legislative stuff. That's okay. We worked really hard at the Capitol this year. We had 5 or 6 meetings and introduced our priorities. We took off like a house on fire. We thought we were going to get some things done this year. Everybody know what happens April 28th? No. They quit getting paid in Des Moines. Think they're going to work real hard for us after April 28th? The one thing that I can say, Nick, correct me if I'm wrong, with the Veterans Trust Fund, does anybody in here is having issues getting money back, like for funeral services and stuff like that? Okay. I was told just last weekend by Todd Jacobus, the VA Commission Chair, and the Commandant at the Iowa Veterans Home, that money has been received and some of it has already been mailed out. Yeah. So, we received all. You did? Good. Okay. I'll tell him, I'm going to see who it is. I'll tell him that at least one post that they got there. Yeah, Dick? Good. That's what it was all about. I mean, it should have never run out, but it did. And I'm not going to get into that because that's there's too many different opinions why it ran out, and I don't have one. Other than this, it was there. So, anyway, that's been replenished. Hopefully it doesn't happen again, and Chairman Jacoba says he'll do his best to not make it happen again. We'll see what happens. They didn't like it at the Capitol, I know that. So that's their issues too. You got anything else on the legislative stuff that would be interesting rather than boring? Because I just have boring stuff.
One thing of note that we hope is still going to take place is raising the military property tax exemption on your homes from $1,852 a year to $4,000 a year. So that would increase your tax exemption approximately $60 per person, per home, I should say, to about $120. So we still have hopes that that'll get passed, Commander. One of the best things that's happened working with Iowa Workforce Development is it's getting easier for them to recognize the experience you have for your military training and transfer that skills level to getting licensed in Iowa much faster. And that applies to the veteran as well as their spouse. So that's a couple of our priorities out of 5 that are likely, that's already taken place, the workforce development thing. Thank you, Commander.
Yeah, the one thing about the veterans property tax, I don't know if you knew this, Nick, but that if you've been watching the news lately, they're trying to work on the property tax for all Iowans. That's going to be embedded in that bill. I wonder how that's going to read.
It's going to be a very comprehensive change.
Yeah. So, but that's just kind of the stuff that I've been doing in my spare time, and it's interesting stuff to me, but it's not everybody else. So I don't talk a lot about it either, other than let you know what's going on with it. I'm going to kind of break my normal routine because I don't have any complaints about District 2 and their memberships. Nothing. Brian stood up here and said District 2 is leading in all categories except 729 transfers. They're second in that. I mean, I don't know what else you can do. But you've got to keep in mind, you're still not at 100%. And I'm going to throw this out here, it's a negative. But I'm not complaining because it seems to be the sign of the times. You're still 200 memberships behind where you were this time last year. But you're leading the department. What's that tell you about the department? I think we're probably 1,200 behind where we were this time last year. That's actually a cut. From the previous year up to last year, I think we're right around 2,000. So if you can take a negative and make it good, I guess that would be it. But it's just like I'm telling, I told District 5 last week, they're on fire right now for some reason. I don't know what's going on down there, but they're picking up a lot of memberships. Don't stop doing what you're doing now. At the same time, on the big picture, we need to be realistic. So sooner or later, somebody at National is going to have to say, we need 186,000 memberships to make goal. Are we going to make it? We got 80 days to do it. Think about it. We're going to have to start asking or telling ourselves, look, we may not make goal, but let's not lose from what we ended up with last year. Let's try to get that same number that we had last year. May not make goal. There's posts out there that are going to have to do that. You've also got posts out there that are on fire. 6 new members at Marion. They just broke 1,000 paid members. They're 35 from goal and have 80 days to do it. That can be done. That can be done. Oxford Junction broke 100%. And I jumped him about it back there. He said, well, you said at midwinter, go get some new memberships, so he did. That's what he said. That's what he said. It sounds easy. It is. It is. If you've got unpaid members that are alive, they need to contact them ASAP. We can get it done. 729 transfers, you can transfer all you want. People say, well, that doesn't increase the department's numbers. No, it doesn't. But it sure helps you guys out. It sure helps you guys out. It's kind of like robbing Peter to pay Paul. You take them out of the department post, if you will, and put them in yours. So the number at the department level stays the same, but yours goes up. Ours drops. And that's okay. And by the way, you know who the post commander is for the headquarters post? You, me. Guess what? We're at 80%. When was the last time that happened for 729s? 80% renewal with 729s. Last year was 62 or 3.
Between 40 and 50 most of the time.
So I mean, contacts work. I know why it's working on the headquarters post is because I mentioned it. And I'm out there a lot. And I mentioned it. So. Anyway, anybody got any questions for me? Okay.
Not questions, but maybe, I don't know if this falls under legislative or department, but Iowa Department of Natural Resources now makes a license available to all veterans that have served under federal command. All they have to do is file their DD-214, and their license is $5 a year plus $2 writing costs for hunting or fishing license.
Yeah, that is legislative. It wasn't one of our priorities, but that just happened this year too. Actually, it was increased. It was there already, but they increased it
increase the trap stamp or something like that on top of it. Somebody in Southern Iowa doesn't care. That's good for younger veterans though, that they can get outdoors.
Yep, and there's, you brought it up, the younger veterans, come on folks, we need all veterans. Okay, we just do. That's a term that I really don't care for. Let's just go get them all. And we'll probably, if we do that, we'll be able to treat them all the same too. You can't walk up to a young guy and say, hey, I need you because you're young. Well, what am I? What are you telling me when you do that? You know? I mean, I know we need replacement, and I'm lucky because I got 2 or 3 guys behind me that wants my job. But at the district and post level, you guys got to find people to do your jobs. But I'm lucky. I haven't searched at all for somebody to replace me. Pretty easy. We just talked about that before we started here with Eric. You know, he says, "Are you ready to step down?" Not because I want to leave, but it's because I believe in the system. We should be like department commanders every year. It's great. Great systems. Worked for 103 years. Anyway, anything else?
I have one thing. One thing about the new submarine that's being built on behalf of the citizens of Iowa, we're honored to have the new USS Iowa submarine 797 will be christened sometime this summer, we hope. We keep putting it off. But Doug McCree is our chairperson for the commissioning ceremony. He lives in Ames. And I would encourage each of you to visit with your state legislators because a year ago, the state of Iowa allowed $200,000 of state money to go to the commissioning ceremonies and pay for some amenities that the government does not provide for the crew members, such as sliding a screen across your bunk. But there's a lot of other things. But we only got $1,000, $100,000 last session, because they wanted to take the other $100,000 on the Veterans Trust Fund. And no one on our side of the fence, legislative-wise, or the commissioning ceremony, wanted to see money coming from the Veterans Trust Fund on behalf of the state of Iowa. It should come from the general treasurer. So please talk in the remaining couple of weeks to the state legislators and make certain that that's still on the agenda to get that $100,000 out of the general fund. Almost every state, especially our neighbors, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, when they had a submarine named after them, they donated $200,000 on behalf of their citizens. Some donated more. So we're hoping to get that $100,000 yet this session. But it's a very tight budget, and they will go put that money where the wheel squeaks the loudest. So please talk to your state legislators this weekend and next weekend, or send them an email requesting that that money come $100,000 out of the general treasury from Iowa on behalf of all of our citizens.
That's a prime example of why I don't like to stand up here and brief. I'd rather have a discussion because things come up that I didn't think of. The USS Iowa, I just signed the temporary charter back there this morning. 151 new members is coming to the Department of Iowa from a Legion post on a submarine. Think about that. We've got, I believe, 50 or 60 new members at a brand new Legion post in the Iowa Veterans Home. I mean, that's thinking out of the box. That's thinking out of the box. Frankly, at the Veterans Home, it should have been done 100 years ago. Just that simple. Anyway, any more questions? Yes.
A little comment on that Iowa submarine. I don't know if you guys realize how big that thing is, but it's like 37 feet in diameter, which is probably set inside this building. It's like 370 feet long. But it was supposed to be christened or put in the water in the spring. It's built inside of a building out in Connecticut. It's put on electric wheels, and they build different sections and slide it together and weld it together. Which, if you know anything about metal, it works. So they get ready to take it out and put it on what they call a bladder so they can submerge it. But they have to take the electric wheels out of from under it when they move it out there. They get it out there just about ready to go on that bladder. It was one of them days out east when the temperature went, I think it was 50 degrees different. What they found out was when they got out there close to the bladder, it's made out of metal and they can submerge it. It cracked. So they took the submarine that was on the electric wheels and put it back in the building, and it was 2 months repairing the bladder. Otherwise that thing would have been in the water by now.
But we got the post. So.
Yes, just like he says, the 151 members, you have to realize, and I can't say who done it, but those members are paid by a donation in the state of Iowa. And next year's membership for those people on that submarine is paid by an organization in the state of Iowa. Thank you.
Rocky, the Navy doesn't have a meteorologist that can look at the weather forecast?
They do, but the weather don't cooperate with them.
In case everybody didn't know, Rocky was a blacksmith in his prior life. Blacksmith become welder. This stuff interests him. Hey, anything else? Great, thanks.
Thank you. Randy, you stay up here a minute. I got the presentations that I want you to hand out and have your picture taken up. Okay, now we've got some awards to hand out. The first is Post Honor Ribbon Award. This award goes to posts that have reached 100% of their goal by December 31st. Our first award goes to post 473, Wapsie from Oxford Junction. Their goal was 104, their totals were 107, and a 102.88% at the end of December. Congratulations. Our second award goes to post 679, Palo. Their goal was 42. Their total was 45, and a 107.14 by December 31st. Congratulations. Our next award is the Roadrunner Award. That is awarded to any post that reaches 105% of their membership goal for a given year. This can be earned by reaching 105% of goal 30 days prior to the Department of Iowa Convention. We now have some that have already reached there, and our first award goes to post 297, Dyer Benson, Center Point, surpassed their goal of 49, currently totals 55. 112.2% of their goal. We have somebody here to... Our second award goes to post 679, Palo. Their goal was 42, and current total is 47. 111.90 of the goal. Our third award goes to post 473. They had a goal of 104%, and their current is 110. They now are at 105.77% of their goal. Okay, then we have a booster award. It's presented to Eugene Poppy, who is hereby recognized as a supporter of the Eternal Flame Society of the American Legion of Iowa Foundation. Is he here? Our next award is a presentation of Sons of the Legion, John White Squadron 650, Chatsworth, Iowa, new charter. So if I can have the Sons of the Legion from Squadron 650 come up, probably also the commanders of the post. We have these awards presented. I'd also like to announce that Post 650 at Epworth also had the Firefighter of the Year winner, who was Lieutenant David Gross from Asbury, Iowa.
Grass.
David Grass, what did I say? It's close. Start with a G. Okay, thank you. At this time, I think we'll take a 10-minute break. Anybody needs to use the restrooms are in the back, and we'll finish up after that. We're going to go over committee reports, and the committee reports are in your packets. And I'll ask any committee chairman if they have anything to add to their report in the packet. We're not going to read every report.
I'll stand up and say that it was my mistake. The last page of the packet has a liaison report. It's the last one that wasn't supposed to get printed, but it did. It's not the current report, and Ron Tyne is going to give the current report. So that last one, I guess you have to fire me.
Hey, Ron, you want to give it now? Yes.
That's one thing about the liaison report, it's short.
Is it turned on?
It's terrible.
First district, no candidate. Second district, no candidate. Third district, Jeff Large, candidate for Department Vice Commander, 2023-2024. Fourth district, there's no candidate. Fifth district, Sam Bloomer, candidate for Department Vice Commander. Sixth district, Stanley Elliott, candidate for Vice Commander.
Commander.
Department Commander, 2023. Seventh district, Brian Green, senior candidate for Department Commander, 2024 to 2025. Amy Hughes, Vice Commander, delegate for 2023 to 2024. 8th district, no candidate. 9th district, no candidate. We did go over one thing. The department came up with a new nomination paperwork, and it included county. And if the county, there was no county that was supposed to go to the senior post, it was really confusing. So we tabled it and rejected it until next meeting to clarify it.
little update to your form. Let's see, 9th District now has Dennis Hans as a candidate for Department Vice Commander.
Who was that?
Dennis Hans. Also, 5th District has turned in a form. Darren Aldridge for Commander 2025, 2026.
What was the last name again?
Aldridge. Darren. Alderson. Darren Alderson.
Department Commander for
25, 26.
this, John?
That's 2 years, that's a year plus ago.
That's the one that I'm saying is wrong.
Yeah.
That was my mistake. It wasn't supposed to be included in the packet. The current report wasn't provided, that's why Ron is up here speaking. Sorry.
I hope to get you the latest update, but I didn't get that done. Thank you.
Anybody else want to make comments on any committee reports? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to receive and file all committee reports.
Second.
Bill Goodman. Okay, at this time we will cover some new business, and I'm going to turn it over to my adjutant, Mike, for some comments.
Okay, Mike Overbrockling, District Adjutant. This is a great Mike. Well, we mentioned it at the caucus at midwinter that we'd kind of like to address any updates or changes to the district operating structure and the Constitution and bylaws. Really didn't hear much from anyone except Don Arns brought some points up with the DOS. The items that he brought up, and he can probably cover them better than I can, but the Media and Communications Committee and the Website Maintenance Committee. In the DOS, it really doesn't call a Website Maintenance Committee, but there's an individual identified as that person. His proposal, which the executive committee can make the change to the DOS. Constitution and bylaws, my understanding is that it has to be voted on at a body like this, but we don't have sufficient notice of the changes, so that'll have to be done in the future if we come up with something. But the change would be to have a communications and media committee that is a 3-member committee that includes Jerry Becker. Right now is our website maintenance individual. He would be on the Media and Communications Committee and do that portion. So it'll just be underneath the Media and Communication, and that's really what it already says in the DOS anyway. The other recommendation Don brought up was, and I think this is a fantastic recommendation, the DOS has copies of the budget, the officer and committee listings, and membership. They're listed in the DOS, so that requires a change all the time. I don't know that they need to be in the DOS, and that's what Don is recommending, that we take them out of the DOS and we just publish them. They don't need to be part of the DOS, of our operating structure. So I'm all in favor of that. I guess the executive committee can make the recommendation. Those are the changes that I'm aware of. I don't know if he has any other ones, or if anyone else has any. We're glad to listen and we can address them. Okay, we'll address those changes for the DOS and try to have that. My goal would be to have that taken care of and released by the convention. We can release it or, unveil it, so to speak, at our caucus, our 2nd District caucus. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Any other questions on any of that? Okay, seeing none, then at this time we will continue with election of district officers and appointments for the 23-24 year. Okay, for district commander, we have Dick Brees from post 650 Epworth. Want to stand up, Dick? We have vice commander from Clinton and Scott County, would be Don Arms, post 711. Don, you want to stand?
Post 548.
Sorry about that. Vice commander from Dubuque and Jackson County, post 75 from Macokota is Kenny Weimerkirsch. Weimerkirsch. I'm gonna quit. Okay, for vice commander for Jones and Lynn County, we have Dick Hogan from post 298 in Marion. And we have Delias and Kennewy for 23 to 25, Ron Pine, post 298 Marion. And then for the audit committee, 2023-24, we have John Pitlow, post 273 Bellevue. Okay, I take a motion to accept our nominees, or is there any other nominees from the floor? Seeing none, I would take approval of the nominees.
I move that all nominations cease, and since there's no opposing, nominees that the applicant cast a unanimous ballot for the ones nominated.
I second.
Who was the second?
Who was the second?
What's your name, sir?
Matera, Stephen Matera.
347 McLaren.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
All the same sign. Motion carries. Okay, the following positions, nominated positions, the next year will be adjutant, Farley Graham, post 711 Bluegrass. Historian is vacant. Finance officer will be Dale Radman, post 650 Epworth. Chaplain will be Janet Grass, post 6 Dubuque. Sergeant at arms will be Alan LePage, post 75 Macokota.
No, 656 Farley.
Pardon me?
656 Farley.
Alan
Page
Page.
from 656 start Farley?
Yeah.
Okay, now I got my script wrong. Judge Advocate Leonard Earth, post 273 Bellevue. Finance Committee Leonard Earth, post 273 Bellevue. And those are appointed positions for this next year. Okay, now we will select members to attend the National Convention, which will be held August 25th to August 31st in Charlotte, North Carolina. The following have asked to be appointed. They are Dick Brees, post 650, Janet Gross, post 6, Molly Graham, post 711, Curtis Thornhill, post 473. Do we have anyone else that would like to go to the National Convention?
I'd like to nominate the incoming commander for post 298. Whoever that might be.
Got that, Mike? And his name is?
It's whoever it might be. They haven't been elected yet.
Oh, okay, okay.
They like sending the commander to
Put me down as alternate.
Okay,
I'd like to be an alternate as well.
okay, got that, Mike? Anybody else like to be an alternate? If anybody in the future wants to be alternate, just let myself or Bruce know, and we'll get you as well alternate. Those that are alternates and candidates at this time, I have a envelope up here for those delegates. Please pick up after the meeting. Okay, now we will select the department leadership attendees. Those are those people who will go to the committee meetings at the convention in Des Moines. And I'm sorry, I goofed up again. These are going to go to the leadership school in Des Moines in June 22nd to 4th in Des Moines. And we have two going as District Commander Dick Brees and District Adjutant Holly Graham. Now, if anybody else, is there anybody else who wants to go to the leadership conference? If later on you decide you want to go to the leadership conference, please contact Dick Brees, our incoming.
Garrett, are you talking about the Department of Leadership School?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Kurt Keller from Post 473 would like to attend.
Okay, Kurt Keller from both 273. Got that, Mike?
Not 273.
473. 473. Anybody else? Okay, and if somebody wants to go later, please contact our incoming Commander Dick Brees.
Before we get away from it, the direction from the department was that we are to elect folks to go to the be delegates for the national convention and alternates. So I think we probably should just get a motion and a second and a vote to make sure that we've elected those individuals.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Second.
A motion on the floor to accept our national delegates and alternates. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a selection of district representatives to attend convention committees in July in Des Moines. And I have Americanism, Polly Graham, that said she would go to the Americanism Committee meeting. Internal Affairs, Don Arms said he would go. Veterans Affairs, Rehabilitation, Greg Wagner is going. Legislation, Constitution, Bylaws is Brian Filer. Convention Place is Dick Hogan. I need somebody to go to the Finance and Marketing meeting. If someone here would volunteer for that? Did you say yes, Ken? Okay. Dick, will you go? Okay, Dick Brees for Finance and Marketing.
Did you cover international affairs?
Did I miss that?
I didn't hear it.
Probably didn't.
Bill Goodman, are you going to attend the National Affairs Committee meeting?
Okay, I didn't miss it. I've got you on the
I
list.
just didn't hear it.
At this time, we'll have the reading of any correspondence received since our caucus in February.
We've received no new correspondence, Commander.
Okay, thank you. I'll give a few comments. I want to just talk about boys' state orientation. The first one will be April in Marion Post 298, Sunday at 2 p.m. And the contact there is Dean Armertzak. Thank you. The second one will be held at DeWitt Post. I think I got these wrong. I think Marion is, yeah, they are second. Post DeWitt will have one at 2 p.m. on April 30th. The contact there is Jim Hetrick. And Darsville Post 137 will have one at 2 p.m. May 7th. Sunday at the Post, the contact is myself. Just a comment about, I know Eric, or Brian and Eric covered about the boys' state. And you know, the cost went up this year. But, you know, if your post can't afford it, contact some of your banks, your local organizations. They're willing to donate to help you send someone to boys' state. And it's a great program. I know we've always sent two from Darcy, and they come back and they're just amazed at what they learned, how great it is. So if your post, and I noticed District 2 really is kind of lacking on the number of what we are sending from District 2. There's a lot of posts that have it, and I realize that probably some of the posts can't seem to afford it. But go out and contact some people in your local area, ask them if they would help you pay for the cost of this invoice.
I would encourage each of us to capitalize on the Boys State alumni. Some of those folks after going to Boys State went to college and became successful business people, including attorneys, etc. Do the same thing with your chocolate contest. We need to capitalize on our youth that we've invested money in and let them show the way for the younger students as well as ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Just a reminder, if you haven't registered for the convention in Des Moines in July 8th to 10th, be sure and call down and get registered. If the hotel is currently booked, you can have your name put on a waiting list. They have cancellations. Some ways to really learn about the American Legion. And I don't know how many of you have done this, but you can go online. They have a Legion basic training. And it's an excellent way to really learn more about the Legion. I've done it once, and I think it's changed a lot, and I probably should do it again. But I highly recommend, if you've got the time, go on and take that course. It's really worth your time. Another way is sign up for the electronic newsletter that the department puts out once a month. And I'd also like to remind you, and I know it's passed, but if you've had a change of officers at your post, please send in your officer report to the department. If you don't send it in and we don't know there's a change of officers, it's really hard to contact the post and make sure for the district commander or even the state to send out the correct information to all the posts. So be sure and send in that report. And actually, before we end, I'd like to challenge each one of you here today. If you knew someone that is in the military, go out and ask them to join, so they can't say we've never been asked. And the other thing I'd like you to do is contact someone you may know. Be the one. You know, there's a lot of people out there maybe that they're retired, they're living alone. Call them up, see them. They'd love to be talked to visit. Be the one. Thank you.
Commander, I've got a consolidated report that's due right now, and we just replaced our chaplain. Can I put them both together, or do they have each one be mailed separate?
I think you put them together, just make the note on the report.
No, officer's report.
Yes, Dave?
Yeah, I thought on the CPRs, they're due June 15th, but you don't have to wait that long. 2 years in a row, we had 100% in the second district. Let's see if we can do it again.
No.
That report is due June 15th.
June 15th.
Yes, sir.
And so I'm collecting all the CPRs right now, and I'm putting it on. I'm actually building, well, it's the same thing Ryan did last year, filling in the population, all that information, and I'll probably get that out to you guys so that you're tracking it and you can see your percentage. I'll probably have that out maybe that first week of May, and then I'll have it out that first week of June, so you can see where you guys are at. But if, yeah, you know, it'd be great is if people filled that thing out right too. Because, like, you know, I'm getting some post reports and there's no information up top. So they forgot to fill out their, you know, what post it is, the name. So that would be great if people would actually fill that out properly. If they got questions, they can always call me.
And don't copy last year's to this year's, because there's always some changes, so.
Yeah.
And that's noticeable when they get that, so.
Yeah.
Okay, at this time, I'm going to put our SAL advisor on the block and ask him to get up and tell him what Darsville Post is doing to make it a lot easier to do the report every year? Would you get up and tell what ours was doing?
We have to have disclosure, I have to say, this is my last summer at it, I'm retiring when Jerry goes.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is. Anyway, what we're doing is, I got them to start, every time they do an activity, like an activity log, they put down how many members were there and how many hours they spent doing it. This way, at the end of the year, for community service hours, they have a lot easier recording it at the end of the year. And also starting for our Legion post too. We're doing that. It's amazing how many hours you provide to the community just doing it. It's so much easier to keep it. That's what we're gonna do. It's just a recommendation we got. Yeah. I know you guys are new at it. You'll wonder at the end of the year, what are we gonna put on this consolidation report at the end of the year? But just keep track of it every time you do something.
Thank you, Denny. Is there, yes, Dick?
Thank you, Commander. You mentioned the electronic newsletter. I'm one of the correspondents for the electronic newsletter. We'd like more activities from posts. These have to be major activities, however. We can't do fish fries, chicken dinners, that sort of thing. I've gotten a couple on the newsletter in the past. One that comes to mind is one from Palo. They did their own Freedom Rock. It cost them a bunch of money. They went to the community office and that. I got the information from them, and we got it on the electronic newsletter. It's for more major events that would be of interest across the state, not just in your particular area. But if you've got something, let me know, and I can make a judgment call. And I don't have the final say because there's a committee, Eric's on the committee too. And it comes out twice a month. The next issue will be tomorrow. If you're not signed up for it, get on the department website and sign up. It's a good tool. So if you got something, let me know, and I'll try to get it on. Thank you.
And I'd also like to say Roger Northfork takes care of the Facebook page for District 2, and he would also like information for the Facebook page. So if you got any major events or some things you've done, get it to him. Also get it to me because I'm taking care of the 2nd District website. And if you don't submit it to me, there's nothing I've got to put on it. So just remember that. If you're opposed to doing anything, let me know as I put on the, because maybe some other folks will want to do the same thing and give me some ideas. Yes, Bill?
Post 473 in Oxford Junction is hosting the 2023 golf outing this summer. And I'd like to have Curtis Thornhill get up and give you a little summary of what he's doing.
District 2 comrades, we are excited, Coach 473, for being able to host this outing this year. It's been a while. COVID kind of shut everything down for a while. But I'm grateful to all you guys from District 2 for the response that we're getting, all right? I have but one slot left for a complete field for that day, which will be August the 12th. Also, because I know what it takes to do this stuff, I've been on the ground running since last year. We're looking for a post that would agree to sponsor this outing for 2024. Personally, I'm zeroing in on Bellevue because I like playing. But if any post would like to sponsor this outing for next year, let me know. Let the district know, okay? Thank you so much for all your support. We're going to have a great time that day out there. So, again, thank you. Thank you much.
Thank you, Curtis. Nick?
Question over here.
Preston would be interested in helping you with it if I can get Bellevue to help me, because we've never done it.
Okay, Bellevue, Preston, you're on.
Yeah.
behalf of the Dubuque Post 6 Americanism program, we honor students from the ROTC program at the University of Dubuque every year. We present medals and ribbons for military excellence and scholastic excellence in silver and gold in each category. Next Thursday, April 20th, is the award ceremony at the University of Dubuque Place Hall. Especially, I'd like to invite anyone in Dubuque and Jackson County to join us in this endeavor. They have a great program. They work in conjunction with their headquarters at Cedar Falls, University of Northern Iowa, and they're all part of the same ROTC program. So it's encouraging to see these young people who are stepping forward and willing to serve our nation in such a wonderful manner. So next Thursday, if you want some details, please see me after the meeting here, or give me a call. It's at the University of the Blades Hall in the afternoon at 3 p.m. as I recall. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Mayor, we did, they did come up here, verify our district dues at $1 currently. It has been at $1 for many years, I guess. But we have to re-verify that regardless if it changes or not. So, open to you, sir.
Okay. I know the district, the finance committee met, Dale, that there's not been a raise in the district dues. So do I need a motion for that?
Sure.
Is it currently adequate? Okay.
Motion by
Motion by Ron Time to have the dues remain at $1.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, second.
John Pimble, second.
Okay. If no other discussion, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Is there any other further business to come before this district conference? Seeing none, I just want to thank each and every one of you for attending today. So it's good to see a good crowd. Following our conference here, there will be a memorial service held outside by the memorial. So we can go out the front door here. It'll be,
I'll be out here in the parking lot. Just go down the stairs.
Did you move it?
Back.
okay, they told me it's gonna be out in the front.
Got changed. There's not enough room out there.
Okay, so it's gonna be out the back, followed before the lunch. Well, Sergeant of Arms, please retire there for the oath. Uncovered. Please, for a moment of silence for departed members, local service members, and all service members lost in our service for our country. Will our chaplain, Jerry Monoran, now offer our benediction.
O God, creator of this good land, help us to be worthy of citizenship in our nation. Bless our country with loyal people and dedicated leaders. Guard us from unlawful acts and cowardly fear. We also ask your blessing on the veterans of our nation and grant that the American Legion may always do your will. Amen.
Amen. Recover. At this time, will Sergeant of Arms Bill Kleesner and Alan LaPage please retire the colors. and salute. Two, until we meet again, let us remember our obligation to our country can be felt only by the faithful performance of our duties of citizenship. Let us service to the community, state, and nation be ever a main objective of the American Legion and its members. Let us ever be watchful of the honor of our country, our organization, and ourselves, that nothing shall swerve us from the path of justice, freedom, and democracy. I now declare the 2023 Spring Conference of the 2nd District adjourned.